Silverstone is hosting its second F1 race weekend in as many weeks. This time it's the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, the first race not to be named after a geographical location. Racing Point were back in the headlines, Nico Hülkenberg again deputising for Sergio Perez, who remains unable to re-enter the Formula One paddock, having tested positive once more for COVID-19. With a full weekend ahead of him and a new helmet, the Hulk was immediately on the pace, ending up fourth fastest. But the team itself received something of a shock shortly before FP1 began, as it was handed a points deduction and a $400,000 fine for the manner in which it designed its brake ducts and their similarity to the 2019 Mercedes. Although Renault's protest over the parts had been a success, the design itself was considered legal, and so Racing Point will be able to carry on racing its RP20 without alterations. Tyres have been a major talking point after last weekend's dramatic final laps. Pirelli said the issues were due to extremely long use following the early safety car on a circuit with demanding loads. This weekend, the teams will be using tyres one step softer, the C2, C3 and C4 compounds. And with tyre pressures mandated to be higher and temperatures set to soar, it's likely teams will opt for minimum two-stop strategies in the race. Both AlphaTauri drivers were impressed with their cars at the British Grand Prix, with Pierre Gasly, who finished P7, suggesting he'd feel confident in pushing even harder around Silverstone this weekend, and Danick Kvyat claiming his ride felt super quick until his scary accident at Maggots. The Russian had a much smaller malfunction this time out.
Something is going on with my headrest. I can't lean on my head.
Renault's Daniel Ricciardo claims the French team could be an outside bet for third place in the Constructors' Championship, and his P4 in last weekend's race would seem to back that up. The team has brought some upgrades to this weekend's race, and although the Australian couldn't match his British Grand Prix pace in FP1, his teammate Esteban Ocon did at least manage to break into the top 10. Sebastian Vettel went the long way round at Aintree, his dusty line forcing him to back off. And Ferrari teammate Charles Leclerc narrowly avoided a meeting with Max Verstappen.
Mate, can you tell me please when there's another car? I didn't see that Ferrari.
Leclerc was on a slow lap. I'm surprised he was travelling so quickly.
Yeah.
Kimi Raikkonen also came into close contact with the Flying Dutchman coming through Vale. The Alfa Romeo driver thinks there are points to be had for the team this weekend, suggesting there's more power to extract, but they'd need to have a completely clean race. Pushing hard, the Iceman went wide at Chapel on a quali simulation run, and also found the margins at Aintree. After being competitive 1 week ago, McLaren were expecting a harder weekend with the softer tyre, a Q3 qualifying performance considered by their drivers as being something of a long shot. Neither driver placed inside the top 10 in FP1 as they spent their time evaluating how their car would treat the softer tyres. Lando Norris ending up P12 and Carlos Sainz P14. Promising signs for Williams, with both cars keeping off the bottom of the timing sheet. George Russell has made Q2 3 races in a row, and there's a chance his rookie teammate Nicholas Latifi could follow suit as the Canadian gets more experience behind the wheel of the FW43. They finished P15 and 16, with Russell less than 4/100ths of a second behind Sainz's McLaren. It was a familiar sight at the top of the leaderboard, with Valtteri Bottas celebrating his new Mercedes contract by topping FP1, leading Lewis Hamilton by just over 1/10 of a second, and Max Verstappen slotting into third. Nico Hülkenberg was impressive for Racing Point in fourth, ahead of surprise British Grand Prix podium finisher Charles Leclerc. Alex Albon started his weekend well in sixth, with Sebastian Vettel 7th, Lance Stroll 8th, Danick Kvyat 9th, and Esteban Ocon rounding out the top 10. Pierre Gasly narrowly missed the top half of the times in P11 ahead of Norris, with Romain Grosjean an impressive P13 for Haas. Sainz was 14th ahead of Russell and Latifi, with Ricciardo all the way down in P17. The Alfa Romeos of Kimi Raikkonen and development driver Robert Kubica continued to struggle in 18th and 19th, while Kevin Magnussen had a difficult morning, struggling to the slowest time of the day, more than 3 seconds off the pace.